You can execute a flawless multi-hour case, keep a high-risk patient perfectly stable, and still lose the revenue for that entire procedure hours later. Unlike a standard family medicine visit where you bill a simple flat fee for a service, anesthesiology billing relies on a highly volatile formula. This equation shows exactly what makes up your claim. It takes ASA base units, adds documented time units, layers on care model modifiers, and factors in qualifying circumstances. Miss a time log or use one wrong physical status modifier, and the entire calculation falls apart. You also have to navigate strict concurrency rules that dictate exact billing requirements based on whether the case was personally performed, medically directed, or medically supervised. When these errors happen, payers do not dock your pay by 5% for minor administrative slips. They deny the entire case. Because of this complex math, anesthesiology carries some of the highest financial risk in healthcare. A minor front office mistake directly threatens the margin your clinical team worked so hard to produce. This chart shows the impact of recent Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services cuts. The conversion factor drops from $33.29 in 2024 to $32.35 in 2025. Stretching this back 23 years reveals a structural decline. Inflation-adjusted reimbursement has dropped 2.81% annually. Private payers are squeezing the other end. Anthem now bases allowable time on CMS physician work values instead of actual documented time, and United Healthcare is phasing out payments for specific physical status modifiers. With these tightening rules, the average denial rate across healthcare has reached 11.8%. A healthy, well-managed practice benchmarks their denials under 5%. Revenue is shrinking from the top, and denials are running double what they should be. The operational margin for error is gone. Practices have to rapidly tighten their billing accuracy across the board, or they will simply bleed out and be forced to close their doors. The default response for most groups is to try and hire general medical billers to handle this workload internally. Beyond a base salary of $55,000 to $75,000, hidden costs like benefits and training downtime load the true expense. Then the staffing spiral hits. Hires leave within 12 to 18 months, resetting your investment to zero. Standard medical billers can clear internal medicine claims, but navigating anesthesia time units and payer-specific quirks requires a rare skill set that commands a premium. While you deal with internal turnover, payers are constantly rewriting their rulebooks. If your team cannot track those updates in real time, you end up submitting claims for policies that no longer exist. We can see the scale of this problem in a recent OIG audit, which identified $45.7 million in at-risk Medicare reimbursement tied specifically to anesthesia modifier errors across the country. When a local staff is overwhelmed by these complexities, denials pile up. Your accounts receivable days start climbing well past the healthy industry standard of 30 days. Relying on a cycle of generalist billers guarantees an expensive learning curve. For a modern anesthesiology practice, subsidizing that curve is no longer mathematically viable. The alternative strategy gaining traction among smart ASCs and independent groups is outsourcing the entire operation to a dedicated specialty billing team. A fully loaded in-house biller costs roughly $6,200 a month. A dedicated Staffingly seat replaces that with a variable cost of just $1,600. That lower cost includes specialists with active AAPC or AHIMA coding credentials. A major concern with outsourcing is clinical disruption, but this team logs directly into your existing EMR every day, whether you use Epic, Athena, or Cerner, meaning your physicians change absolutely nothing about their workflow. Moving to this model is fast. Practices go live in 14 days. The team maps your payer mix, establishes secure portal connections, and launches a risk-free pilot. Patient data is protected from day one. The entire service operates under strict SOC 2 Type 2 and HIPAA protocols, requiring encrypted VPNs and signed business associate agreements before anyone touches a file. Shifting to a specialty team takes a high-risk liability and turns it into a manageable, predictable expense that immediately upgrades the quality of your claims. High-performing practices operate differently. Instead of waiting for rejections, they audit every single claim before it ever leaves the building. They don't just track the sheer volume of denials, they track the root cause, finding the specific modifier errors driving the rejections so they can fix the actual process. To do this efficiently, the outsourced billing workflow is augmented by an aggressive artificial intelligence layer. This smart routing technology passes an anesthesia claim through an AI scrubbing layer, catching modifier conflicts milliseconds before submission. The flagged claim drops directly to a credentialed human specialist, removing tedious cognitive load so they focus on complex edge cases. Research shows AI efficiencies could unlock billions in savings across the U.S. healthcare system, but for your specific practice, the results are immediate: faster payment turnaround and significantly fewer denials. Combining human coding expertise with predictive AI creates an error-proofing system. An isolated, overwhelmed in-house team simply lacks the tools to replicate that accuracy. You have to look at the math and make a choice. You can continue subsidizing high-turnover generalist staff or deploy an outsourced, AI-augmented specialty team. This scorecard shows Staffingly's verified outcomes. Clients achieve an error rate below 1% and keep accounts receivable under 30 days. It's ideal for growth-focused practices drowning in AR days, but not for those absorbing high denials just to keep staff local. Groups growing their anesthesiology revenue right now aren't working longer hours to bill more procedures.